Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Honor with Heather podcast. Today, we are going to be doing a solo episode, and I'm going to be talking about exploring the parallels between life and learning new skills. As always, I'm your host, Heather, and we are going to be talking about my experience with learning a new skill, which is skiing. We're going to talk about how learning something like skiing can teach us about some of the biggest lessons in living a full and fearless life. So, whether you're an experienced skier, someone who's never stepped foot on the snow, or just someone navigating the twists and turns, and let's be honest, the falls of life, this episode is for you. So, buckle up, or should I say, strap in, and let's dive into the life lessons we can learn from starting a new skill. Okay, welcome back. Here is take two. We are going to be doing this podcast episode with my Westie in my lap because that's the only way he's not gonna bark. For those of you who don't know, this is Doug. He's my son and he's an imp, but I absolutely love him. So today I wanted to do a podcast episode and share something that's been like exciting for me, like an exciting new lesson, as well as like kind of some takeaways from it. So hopefully you will enjoy this episode. I always feel that with solo podcast episodes, it's nice to be able to do them as an Instagram live because then I kind of feel like I have some friends here chatting with me. So as always, like the conversation is always open. I'm happy to chat. If you have anything interesting you want to add, or even just to say hi, please feel free to say hi in the comments. And Dougie will be here as well. Okay, so to start off, this year, so 2024, 2025, ski season, I really wanted to get back into skiing. I had grown up in Calgary, skied as a kid. Lots of really good memories at Winsport, Canada Olympic Park, growing up, spending time with my sister and my dad. Hi, Carly. Doug says hello. Um, and then in my like late teens, early 20s, my sister kind of started learning how to snowboard and we would go off to like Sunshine Village and stuff together and we had some really great early memories there. And then as I kind of got into my early 20s, I kind of just like fell off of it. Like I was working in a restaurant bar and, life just kind of happened and I just never really got back into it. And I always thought that maybe one day I would. And a lot of the times like ski season would come around and I'd be like, oh, I really should like get skis and get out there. And it just never really happened. So one thing that I really wanted to try this year was to get back into skiing. And a little backstory, it's been like 15, 16 years since I got back on skis. Um, I'm a hairdresser full time, so injury is something that I just really wanted to make sure that I could avoid at all costs. And I'm also 35 years old, so like getting older and not bouncing back the same way from strain or injury is definitely a concern. But despite all that, I was like, nope, I'm determined. I'm gonna get back out there and I'm gonna go skiing. So my first day was just before Christmas, and we went out to Lake Louise. It was actually my first time at Lake Louise ever, because previously, when I'd gone to the mountains, it had only ever been sunshine. And I gotta tell you, I had like the roughest day ever. I thought that like I would get there, I'd go down the bunny hill, and like I'd have it in a couple goes, and I'd be good to go, like just like riding a bike. And truly, it was not that. Um, God bless my boyfriend, was like, nope, we're gonna get up the gauntlet. We're just gonna go down a run. And I was terrified. I got on my skis. My skis go really fast, and I fell a whole ton on that first day. And it kind of started getting to the point where, like, I would fall and then I would use all my energy to get back up, and then I would fall again, and I would just get so discouraged. And I would, like, I didn't want my boyfriend to look at me. Like, I was like, please just go away. I, like, I just really. I was like such a self-deprecating feeling because I was like so discouraged in my head mentally because I couldn't I couldn't ski. Like and I had for so long. So that was just like it was such a frustrating day. Um, Hi Kelsey. Good morning. Doug says hello. Anyway, so Moral of that story is it would have been very easy at that point for me to just quit. Like, truly, I could have been like, I tried it. It's not that great. And I'm just gonna like let the skiing thing go. Like, it's not gonna happen. But I didn't. I did that day. I did have to, you know, take a little lunch break and then do a couple easier runs. Um, but I was really determined to make it work. And I think that's kind of where I wanted to where I thought there was like perhaps some rich content there was like the concept of falling and getting back up. So I think that like in particular that day, like I just fell so many times and had to get back up and every time it was so just discouraging, but like I would get stronger and I would get better. And I feel like just like in life, skiing involves a lot of falling. Um, falling is kind of like a natural part of the learning process, whereas like failing is also kind of part of the learning process. And I think that's something that I've really seen a lot in my career, especially like as a hairdresser building clientele, opening a salon and now trying to like work in mentoring people and building a podcast is like I'm gonna get it wrong a lot of the time. And sometimes getting it wrong isn't necessarily the worst thing. Um, Another key thing that like I took away from that is that you kind of have to start a little bit more basic, right? Like I think there's a lot of greatness to like jumping off the top of the mountain or like jumping into the pool in the deep end, but sometimes it is really good to just like take yourself to like where you can start and build it up. And I think that's something that I've really reflected on a lot because like I am just like I'm still learning how to do a lot of these things, and sometimes I have to start small to get there. So every skill starts with mastering the fundamentals. And like those of you who are hairdressers, which I think there's quite a few of you in here today, you know that like you have to go to hair school and you have to learn how to cut hair and perm hair and all the stuff that's not as fun. But I think that that is what builds like a truly great hair artist or a truly great skier is like starting with the basics. Life often requires patience and persistence, as I have learned, and the beginning stages of any journey is definitely difficult. Um, Another thing that I kind of thought that I took away from this experience as well is just like overcoming fear. So skiing definitely involves a lot of like confronting your fears, going down steep slopes, like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, doing things you're not ready for, and it's really quite difficult to do. Um, and I think about this a lot in my career too, where it's like opening a business is like the scariest thing ever. You basically put your whole entire life on the line and like jump into the free fall and you have no idea um what to expect. But I also think that pushing through fear can lead to breakthroughs in both life and skill development. So I think that, it's something that's really worth it. Um, a lot of times in life, like we kind of have to be adaptable to change and like skiing like conditions on the slope will change or I don't even know what he's doing. Conditions on the slope will change or the weather will change or you might hit an icy patch or a rocky patch and like that's okay. And I think like I'm trying to really allow myself to feel that a little bit more. Because I have hit so many of those like rocky patches and I'm still trying to push through it. And ultimately I do think that comes down to like something that I always hold as a value in like my career and my personal life is just progress over perfection. So it's not about being perfect, it's about improving with practice. As much as it sucks and we wish like, man, I wish when I first started my hair career, he says hello. When I first started my hair career, I really wished that I was a master stylist right away, and it took me 10 years. uh, Skiing's not about being perfect, it's about improving with practice. So I just really wanted to share that I think that like life is more about progress over perfection. And I'm gonna kind of wrap up this story here because I think Doug's getting a little fussy, and I really was not planning on him being my guest co-host on the podcast today, but here we are. The last thing is that I want to do is just like encourage you to enjoy the journey because if I've learned anything from skiing, it's that it's more about just getting to the bottom of the hill. It's about having fun, being with your friends, being outdoors, seeing the views, and just like life, it's not only about achieving the goals, but it's about enjoying the experience. So that's kind of been some of the reflection that I've had on skiing. I've gone out a couple more times now since the first very sad time, and I'm happy to say that I'm like finally improving. I got to give a shout out to my friend Kayla because she definitely has given me some lessons and some pointers over the course of learning, and I think it's built my confidence a lot. Kind of starting to do some blues, so like not a big deal, like a big intermediate skier now. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you find like that this had like anything that resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can slide into my DMs. I'm going to be sharing this episode very soon on the podcast, and we have some very exciting episodes coming up. I've got some really cool special guests that are going to come up and share some interesting stories too. So yes, I'm looking forward to just kind of focusing on podcasting a little bit more this year. Still offering one-on-one coaching to other stylists, other business owners, if that's something that you're interested in. And as always, still taking clients behind the chair. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time on the podcast. Okay.